Good evening to everybody that's tuning in and will be watching this little video. I have been intending to make this little video for quite a while now, but I've finally gotten around to it. It's on a tough subject. It is on the subject of suicide. A few weeks back, maybe 2 weeks ago, I got a message in my Messenger, Facebook, etc., from what turned out to be a youngster in Northern Ireland, 17 years of age, and his name is Cian McConnell. Okay, so I read this, and the purpose of my entire video, this video here, is to introduce him. I will add the video, one of his videos, to the end of this, and it would be handy for people of my generation, which are completely different from his, of course, to send his particulars on for others that might be in his generation, that might be in need of a little bit of assistance or whatever. This fellow, as I said, is 17 years of age, so he is as different as night and day to myself in my and our generations, and indeed the experiences we have had growing up. It's completely different. Our generation was more able to withstand the pressures of society in our day. There was no real comparisons. The people in your circle of friends and acquaintances would be more or less of the same socioeconomic level as yourself, and everybody had it bad. Some people slightly worse and some people slightly better, but in general, everybody was in the same boat, so it was much easier to just go on with it. In our day, of course, suicide was very, very rare. It was just a situation where a person, usually a man, would be just overcome with circumstances of life, and he would have seen no way out, and he would have taken his own life. Nowadays, it is completely different. Nowadays, of course, everybody is greatly impacted, and suicide, unfortunately, is part of our world today. In Ireland, it is very, very bad indeed. Supposedly, there's over 500 suicides a year. That, of course, would be underestimated because many are put down as accidents or whatever. But it is 10 people at least a week. There's a few problems with people's attitude to suicides as well. They look upon it as somewhat shameful, and they seem, for whatever reason, just to be afraid to issue and say the word suicide. They will describe a person as dying suddenly or passing away. I think that's part of the problem. He or she didn't pass away. They killed themselves because the pressures was too great. And that is something we need to face and accept before we even consider doing anything about it. We just have to say what it is. People just kill themselves. People are not getting the care they need. I was watching the case of one fellow in Galway City. I believe he was 34. He had been up in the hospital and he was looking for assistance, and it was obvious to everybody that this fellow was on the edge and under great distress. For whatever reason, they just released him and let him on his way, and he went down to the curb, and that was the end of him. His family were brave enough to tell his story in detail. The Corb River is only a short river. It's only about 2 miles in length total or whatever it is. And it is such a situation that people actually take it upon themselves to patrol the Corb to try to prevent suicide, etc. And it's a plague on young people. People bullied at school down to the age of 10 to 12 taking their own lives. It is something that must be addressed immediately. But as I said, the focus is on this young man whose video I will add to this when I'm done. And that's really all I wish to say in this video anyway about the issue of suicide. But it will be useful for people of my generation to have this other young fellow's details, which I will add to the end of the video or below it or whatever. and to try to promote his little situation. He is a fellow that, obviously, as I said earlier, was stressed out, etc. He did indicate that he had harmed himself. The video that I hope to add, he will describe himself as weak, but I would describe himself as strong, because he's actually coming out and speaking out and doing something about it. And the more people he can get in his little bit of a following to address this issue for the young people, the better it is. And that is my focus. And thank you very much for watching.
Hi, my name is Cian. I'm a 17-year-old, and this is my story. When I was just 8 years old, I promised myself that I would save lives. I am going to make it, no matter what it takes. When I was 13, I broke that promise because of my mental health going into a spiral. At 15, I broke apart. I developed into a depression and OCD. I had self-harmed and tried to end myself. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, nor even think I'd get better. But what I soon realised was that society doesn't understand how these moments can do to someone. From wanting to be Superman in disguise, to someone who's so young wanting to just end it all. After that stage in my life, I started to get better. I started to recover. I used this pain to post these videos that I do now on a daily basis, to fulfill that 8-year-old's dream, to save lives. I am fully aware that I don't post the best content, but I want to develop my skills and ideas to make sure that I do achieve this goal. But I would get a new follower every day, and no matter how bad my videos are, that would always make my day, and that is keeping me going.